So the last time we had covered almost the development for the dashboard sheet, and
In this dashboard sheet, I have one doubt. Like the
yeah.
other day when we were creating it, right?
Mhm.
We selected the colors like light blue and brown
Right.
depending upon this logo. And
Mhm.
how can you show me like how, from where we have taken this RGB numbers or something?
Okay.
Uh,
So
was it
that
predefined or?
yeah, that was predefined. So I had those numbers. I had actually saved this
Okay,
beforehand. Okay. So you can
okay,
maybe note down these numbers if you wish. For the blue, it's
uh,
0, 112, and 192.
okay, okay, okay.
And for
I was
brown.
right clicking. I was looking like where to find that. I was not
Okay.
getting that. I was trying the dashboard. So
You see, these were actually custom colors that I had defined, beforehand. That's why I had those.
no, okay.
Brown is 73, 68, and 41. So you can maybe note this down for coherency
Mm-hmm.
purposes.
And blue is
Blue is R is 0, green is 112,
okay.
and blue is 192. Okay, with regards to the scripting, we had loaded most of the QVDs. Okay, now we'll go ahead and load a different kind of data sources which are available. So we have an MDB, which is a dimension table. Okay, so this contains all our dimension tables that are also defined in the form of QVDs. And we also have some CSVs which we'll be loading. So in the airports tab, okay, so in the airports tab we have tables here. So there are two files here, origin markets and destination markets, okay, which I'm going to add here. This is the same file data wizard. The delimiter has been automatically identified. Okay, I just have to tell that my file contains embedded labels. Okay, the rest of the part is the same. This would be the script that would be inserted. Okay, this is for the origin markets ID. Just click on finish. These are the two script for the data sources that have been added. Let's name the tables. Also, I'm going to add this tables from the MDB file. Okay, so if I open this MDB file in Microsoft Access, we'll see what all the tables that are present. So we have the aircraft configuration, okay, aircraft groups, types, airlines, carrier groups. So basically all the we can say the tables that are there in the form of QVTs or CSVs, those are also available in the MDB database. Okay, so from this I'm going to add these two data sources: destination airports and origin airports. Okay, in the airports again, I have the markets information. Now to connect to that, first of all, now this to connect to this MDB, I cannot just directly load it. Okay, this is treated as an external data source, so I have to form a connection string first of all to connect to this data source, and then I'll have to create a select statement with which I'll pull the tables from this data source. Okay, so for that there are two kinds of connection that I can create. One is ODBC and one is OLEDB. Okay, so ODBC is a proprietary Microsoft database connector. Okay, but this connection is machine dependent. So first what I'll have to do is, wherever the machine is, or wherever the database is residing, I'll have to first make an ODBC connector on that particular machine, and then from Qlikview I'll have to connect to that ODBC connector, which will help me connect to the data source ultimately. Alright, but that is again machine dependent. If my data source moves, then I'll have to again create that ODBC connector. Okay, OLEDB is a direct connector to the data sources. This is machine independent. Okay, so I'm going to use OLEDB for now. Okay, let's click on connect. So this will open a connection dialog box where I'll have to fill in few details on how to connect to the data source, the credentials that could be used to connect to the data source. Okay, so here the data link properties, these contain all the drivers that I have on my system to to be used for connected to different sources. So I have a data source to connect to Oracle, to SQL servers, to SSIS, to SSAS, or simple provider to connect to any kind of normal data sources, directory services. Then I also have a Jet 4.0 OLED driver, which is consistent throughout all the data sources. This is a very simple data source provider, but it mostly connects to every kind of data source. Okay, so right now I'm going to connect to this data source.
One question.
Yeah.
On the left hand side, I can see there's a checkbox that says port 32-bit.
Yes.
Should it be always be ticked, or what is the significance of it?
Okay, so 32-bit is the type of connection that has to be created. Okay, since my database was created on a 32-bit machine, okay, the Access database was connected on a 32-bit machine, but right now I am using a 64-bit Qlikview desktop. So there would be a difference between the connection string.
32-bit and
64-bit and 32-bit. So I have to force Qlikview to connect to the data source via 32-bit connection. Definitely, if your database is also in the form of or it's in 64-bit connection, or it's in a 64-bit machine, it is definitely advisable to connect it with a 64-bit connection. The performance is definitely much better than a 32-bit. Okay. Now
How
click
do we
on
know whether a database is 64 or 32?
that. Your database, whoever is the data source administrator, they will tell you.
Okay,
Okay. So I'm right now selecting the driver that I want to use. Okay. So Jet 4.0 OLEDB driver. So this would be installed if you have a Microsoft Office suite in your system. Okay. So this driver comes with the Microsoft suite. Okay. Clicking on next. Now this asks the database name. Basically this is asking the whole data path or the path of the database. Okay. What I can do is I can go to the path exactly, and I can select this. Okay, so it will paste a proper path of the database. This could be a network connection also. This is now residing on a hard disk or on a local hard disk. This could reside on a network location also. Okay. Now this is the credentials that are needed for your database. Okay, obviously your database might have credentials. Right now this does not have, so I'm deleting the username. Also I'm allowing the blank password. Okay, so I can test the connection. Okay, always test the connection so that you know the path and the username and password, everything are correct. Okay, if everything is correct, all of this information would be encrypted, the username and the password. Okay, and saved inside Qlikview. Okay, these are some of the access rights that you can give to your uh, the to the Qlikview basically. Okay, so you need to give the read permission. Okay, then this is the final configuration of the driver. Okay, you can edit some of the values that can be there. Let's leave it for default as such. If you click on OK, this would be a connection string that would be inserted in your script. Okay, so this is a long connection string. Okay, so this contains the driver name, this contains the path, all the external properties, your username and password, all of the information that is needed to connect to that. Okay, so this connect 32 is coming because of I've used the force 32-bit connection. If I had not forced it, it would just be connect. Okay, so this is the default 64-bit connection. If I want to use a 32-bit, it will just be appended with a 32. Okay, this connection string is used to connect to the data source. Now what I have to do is I have to go into the data source and pull the tables out of it. For that I have to click on select. So this will bring out a create select statement wizard. Right now Qlikview has connected to the data source. Okay, and this is listing out all the tables that are there in the database. Okay, so this is again the connect properties, the data source, okay, the database name if it is there, and the owner of the dashboard, owner of the data source. If all the information is available, it will be filled out here. There is no information available here, so it is coming as blank. Okay, so if you want to see the driver configuration or the driver properties, you can just click on the driver. A screen would pop up and you can see what configuration of the driver is there, what are the literals, or what are the things that are supported by the driver. Okay, so these are the keywords that are supported by the driver, the literals that are there. okay, and the properties. Okay, if there is any support information available for the data source, then it would come up here. Okay, this lists out all the database tables that are present. You can have tables, views, synonyms, system tables, or aliases. Whatever is present in your data source, you can view it. Right now I'm just having some tables in this. Okay, there are no views available here. Okay, I just have tables. Okay, these are the fields that are there in the tables. So I was going to load the destination airports data here. So I have destination airport ID and destination airport column. Okay, then this is the script that is being generated automatically. Okay, so this is a load select asterisk from destination airports. So this is the SQL script that is being generated by Qlikview automatically. Okay, when you connect to the data source, when I reload the script, it will connect to the data source. It will send this SQL query to the data source. The data source will respond and send back the results, and then those results will be stored in this, fields, basically same fields. So if I click on this, okay, so the destination airport ID would be stored in the destination airport ID column on the Qlikview side. Now this is coming from the database side. This is acting as a source for this load statement. Okay, so automatically the fields are matched and the information is filled up. Okay, this is again the table information that you can view here. The columns present in it, preview of the data, okay, and if blob is big large object is supported or not. Okay, here you can have column view, or just row view, single line view, or a structured view, depends. Okay, then there is a preceding load statement here. So preceding load is when it's a different kind of load. So I'm not sure if I've told you, load can occur with three kinds of or load can be structured three ways. One is with the from keyword that we have already seen, loading from the CSVs or Excels or TXTs or QVTs. So there we use a from keyword. So from actually tells that this is the external data source, or this is a flat file that I am loading into Qlikview. So flat file can contain all your Excels, your delimited files, your HTML files, QVDs, text files, XMLs. Okay, these are flat files. These are tagged with from statement. Okay, then there is another statement called resident, where when you already have the data inside Qlikview, okay, suppose I have a table A, but I want to load only a few fields from that table into another table inside Qlikview itself. So the data is itself residing inside Qlikview in the memory. Okay, so from there, if I want to pull some of the data or all of the data, then that is called a resident load. So then load statement comes with a keyword resident. Okay, then the third is the preceding load, where a lot of load statements can follow each other. Okay, so what happens is, if I have, suppose, load A comma B, okay, and I don't specify any from or resident statements, but just below that load statement I have another load statement or a SQL statement which has a proper source, okay, and which is loading data from somewhere. Okay, so for the first load statement, the following load statement would work as a data source. Like here we see the load statement does not come with a from or a resident keyword, okay, but it is followed by a SQL statement. So for this load statement, this whole script would prove as a data source. It could be a load statement also here. That load statement would act as a data source for the preceding load statement. That is why it is called a preceding load. Okay, if I uncheck this, then the load statement would go away. But this would just, give me the data from SQL. I have to store it inside Qlikview. Okay, so for storing, I have to use a preceding load statement. All right. Then I can add multiple tables at one go. It's not that I have to, I can only pull one table, then again have to click on the select button and select a database, pull out the data. I could just use the add button here, okay, and then I could select a different data source, select the fields and click on add. So this would be my one select statement and this would be my second select statement. Okay, click on OK. Then this is your generated script. Okay, so what you can do is you can just rename as tables. Okay,